is not today. Hello everyone, Joel Clark here, a guy who's currently working on writing Lone Wolf Fist's Acid and Steel. I'm going to see how many different names I can append onto a game before it doesn't succeed at Kickstarter anymore. So the next one's going to be, I'm going to have like 3 next time. So we have Tiansheng, Lone Wolf Fist, Acid and Steel. So now I need Tiansheng, Lone Wolf Fist, Acid and Steel, the wrath of the colon/name. So it's going to be fun. Anyway, so it's not what I came here to talk to you about today. I came here to talk to you about all this stuff. Look at this. I crowdsourced some suggestions from the Discord. If you're part of the Discord, you probably threw in a couple of these. I took my favorite ones, which is almost all of them, actually, and I just wrote them down, and I wrote like some ideas for mechanical takes on them. And this has spurred me to actually designing these powers. And I've got quite a few here. These are the ones that are direct powers here, and then there's also, you can also see I've got some Kung Fu for the robots down here. But I also, let's scoot up here a little bit. My little scroll wheel is on the way out, so you'll have to bear with me here. Yeah, and you can see where, this is the earlier version of the paradigms. I've actually updated this a little bit. I'm going to fuse the 2 takes on the paradigms here in the not too distant future. Yes, very nice, very nice. But up here, you can see, and this red text is how I'm showing myself this. You can see I've got the turn into a city rules starting here, and I've got the turn into giant robot rules as well. Let's see here. Yeah, under vehicle, which is one of the keywords, you can get new stuff from your vehicle form. It shows how that works. I've rebranded the arm and leg slots more generally for the vehicles, so you just have installation points, which are similar, and they work more or less the same way. I've got artificial tulpas, because I figure that you're going to make robot duplicates of yourself when you're a city. And I use the term clockwork transcendence to be the turn into a city power. So this is just this is the same rules more or less that that the hell-based guys use to turn into giant cities. But their way of doing it is less squicky and emotional and a lot more engineering based. So it has a greater or more deliberate overlap with the craft rules. So again, these are all compatible with the core games, with the core game, and with the core game's ability to do like Dominion rules. So you don't have to use the Dominion rules with these, but you can with no hiccups. Again, having the foresight to put Dominion rules in the core book has greatly increased my capacity to design post-core book, so I'm really happy with that. So yeah, that's what I've been working on. I also got the cheat sheet done. Actually done. Let me see if I have a version of it here. What is this? Oh, this is actually my... Yeah, this is just the core book. I've been using this as an easy way of copy and pasting, like, you know, different vehicles directly into the turn into a vehicle rules. So that's been easy. Let me see here. Do I have a version of the cheat sheet that is actually the one I have up? Let's look real quick. Volumes 1 through 3. Cheat sheet. I have so many versions of this bloody cheat sheet at this point. See, look at all this work I've been doing for you ingrates, you reprobates. Oh, what's that? Apocalypse Master Edition, a Lone Wolf Fist. What could that be? Yeah, that's interesting. That could be all sorts of stuff. Let's see here. This is version 3. Nope. See, I actually changed the cover to make it look a little bit differently. Oh, I bet this is the one. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, so this is the working document. Let's go to view. Make this a little bit easier on you guys. View mode. Views. I don't actually know how to do that. Oh well, never mind. It can miss. You guys can just enjoy the rough way. This is available. Pay what you want on Drive-Thru RPG, and what this is going to do for your games. And this is one of the most requested items that I got whenever I first did the Kickstarter. So this is for a lot of you newbies. What this does is it very simply breaks down the way the system works. So like how you roll effort and do stuff, how you use effortless actions, what the different elements of the character sheet are used to do in terms of a role-playing game. So if you are more used to 5th edition or classic role-playing games, this will kind of tell you, okay, there's some weirdness and some weird... this game approaches role-playing games from a different set of mechanical presuppositions, but it works like a classical role-playing game, right? You still take actions in a shared imagined world. There's still consequentiality of things. You still have an appeal to reality, which is really important. Stuff like that gets sublimated in a lot of games, like Powered by the Apocalypse games, into triggering or not triggering a roll from a playbook, and this doesn't throw out the baby with the bathwater. You are meant to play this like you would play Dungeons and Dragons or Vampire the Masquerade or any of those games. It is very much a traditional style role-playing game. So, that's what that is. I've also got a little intro here. So if you want to... I anticipate people are going to print this out and hand it to their players, like staple it. I don't know if it's... I have not researched it if it's cost efficient to do a print on demand of this. It's like 5 pages long. If it is cost efficient to do a print on demand, then I do not suspect that it will be cost efficient to do a print on demand that you then ship to yourself. I think that's going to annihilate any kind of like ability to be competitive with this little thing. But it should be super cost efficient for you to double side print it out and just staple it together yourself. So you've got this one is the first page, this one is the last page, and then these are all the middle pages. So it should be really easy. Let's see. I think there's an odd number of pages though. That kind of screws things. You'll have to put a blank page in there, but that shouldn't be too rough. You should still be able to finish that off. I should put one more page in to make that something that's stapleable. I'll do some experimenting with it, so maybe oh, you know what I'll do? I'll put in a page of instructions right before this one, which is how to print this out and staple it together. So there we go. That's what I'll do. But this is the final-ish version. Obviously, I need one more page. And it's got an intro for your players. It's got a very basic way, a very good, thorough, and basic breakdown that is very referenceable about how to roll dice and get sets. This is a version of what you find in the core book too, by the way. Wow, why are those so close? I feel like those should be a little further down. Okay, well anyway, that's why it's the final-ish version. How attacks and defenses work with health and how imbalances work all on one page. So that's an easy reference for combat. How techniques work. Now there's a lot of moving parts in techniques, as you know, but the principle behind them is very simple, and that's why I showed, like, here's how it's going to show up in the book, and then a breakdown of each one of those things. This is a little less for reference and play, and a little more about, like, giving you an exhaustive and rich expansion of what these terms mean, just in case you need a ruling on the spot and you need to be able to kind of point to something. I guess that's still reference and play. Yeah, how techniques work to modify attacks, how techniques work to modify defenses, how you use aura to defend against damage. That's all broken down right here, expanded and talked about. How skills are used, what the skills are, how you read the skill charts, the effect charts, how chakra and prana work, how many you get, how you open them, the states they can be in, how prana flare works, how recovery works, how your prana pool works, all right here. How you use prana to pay for techniques, very easy, all broken down. Imbalances, how imbalances work, how you get imbalances, what aggravation is, what the rank of an imbalance means, the distinction between a dramatic and a mechanical penalty and the ways in which they can manifest, the different core types of physical imbalances you are likely to see, how emotional and spiritual imbalances can harm you, and how to heal them and deal with them, the limits of imbalances, all on one page, easy to reference. And then I've got this one again, which is just, okay, look, this is what you do. So nice, big, easy to see, like a super clear, streamlined version of the same thing I've already explained on this page. This page is identical to this page, it's just less words, right? So once they've read the rules, once they've tried it a few times, if they really need to have it spelled out for them, like just in the heat of a pop second, okay, I got to do this, now I'm doing this, I'm doing that, done. So that's what that's for. And there's some cool, I've gussied this up with some of the cooler art I've got in the core book. I have Kazuki's bestiary art there, which I think is one of the best pieces I've ever had commissioned. It's the reason he's my rock star, man. I've got the guy exploding from the Kung Fu chapter here. I've got a Michael Clevin piece behind this. Unfortunately, it's kind of hidden by these big blocks of text, but it's still there. All this stuff is there, so it's nice. Oh, I didn't fade this one. I meant to fade it. Oh well, it looks nice. It's not really gonna be too distracting. I figured out how to fade these, so those look really nice now, I think. I've got good old Nuke here. She's my gal. I've got the Suplex a Train one behind this one. And of course the Suplex a Tank one here. With a couple little Easter eggs for you there. And then me making fun of you here. So that's what you get. I hope you enjoy that. That's free. Or rather, just pay what you want. If you want to give me $1, awesome. I will use that dollar to buy more art. As you can tell, I am on an art purchasing rampage. Oh my goodness. I have art to show you as well. Gracious me. Let's see. How to get to it. You know what? I'll have to wait on that one. I'm almost certain any path I take from my computer to the art is going to require me to sign into one of my Gmails or Discord or something. And I don't want to type that out on camera, so I'm just going to show you those later. Actually, you know what I might do? I might make this the monthly update for the Kickstarter, and just show you the art while I'm at it. Oh, goodness. This has been a little rambly, but I wanted to show you guys all the goodies that we've been working on. Well, me. Okay, so this is the one that we're working on right now. The next 5 minutes, I'm just going to talk about this. I'm going to time myself. It's 11:24 right now, so 11:29. I'll be all wrapped up. If you just want to wrap it up, you feel like you've watched enough, that's fine. If you want to hear about the robot powers, stay tuned. Okay, so robot powers. This is what I've been beavering on. The biggest question I've had is, when do we get to see robot stuff? The hell half of the book is basically written. I still have got to finish up the lores, but we finally tackled them in a way, or we designed them in a way that I can just kind of fill in the blanks. So that should be pretty easy. The actual meat of the design work is going to be here in the robot half of the book. The steel half. Let's see here. We've already gone over some of this stuff. Work I've done since last time, you can see that I've changed the hit points into torso integrity. So you don't have health levels anymore as an artificial hero. You actually have hit points like a vehicle, and these work the same way. So you do not have imbalances evolve at all with these things. Another design element of this is that I'm going to make it clear that whenever you target a limb, you're going to be hurting that limb's hit points, and you can disable them that way. So one of the things I'm going to figure out is exactly how I want to append HP to individual augmentations. They might not all get HP, they might not all be attackable in the same way, but I like to think that the majority of them would. Like if you have a synthetic limb, it should have its own hit points. Now, because you don't deal with imbalances, if you take most damage, I think that I don't really need to give these things a lot of hit points, 2 or 3 blocks maybe. Because that way, they're at 100% capacity, but the trade-off for that is that they are easier to destroy if you've got a sufficiently nasty hit. So, I really like that idea. And so you have a different way of damaging artificial heroes. This is one of their big ways they are mechanically distinguished from other heroes. Let's see. Another way is... The rest of this is pretty similar or identical. Another way is the harmony stat. So harmony is how human they are, how much their soul is resonating with their body. It's possible, because they are machines, to abandon harmony and become more mechanical. And so the split that you're going to have with those guys, and I'm describing this at gunpoint, as you can see, Pistonhead's got his laser cannon aimed at me. Stats for that incoming, by the way. But the way you interact with Harmony is when you install new augmentations, which, by the way, every augmentation is optional. All of them. The only one that's not optional is the torso you start with. You don't even have to have arms or legs if you don't want to. But when you get an augmentation, they have an overclock stat. And all of your overclock stat adds together from all of your augmentations. And you compare that to your Harmony. And as long as it is, I want to say, 0 or higher, you are still primarily human. You talk like a person, you sound and feel like a person, you can relate to people, no problem. However, once your Harmony starts to go into the negative, once your augmentation's overclock is higher than your Harmony stat, that's when things start getting a little squiffy. You get the artificial dharma imbalance. So the artificiality of your body and your mechanical nature has overwhelmed the more human aspect of yourself. And what that does is it basically makes you like 100% Vulcan. It strips away all of your, well, I mean, I guess Vulcans are the way they are by choice, but in this case, it makes you involuntarily Vulcan. You're a Vol cell. In this case, Vol stands for Vulcan. You become incapable of emotion. You have to be all mechanical and clipped. You can't use heart to inspire people anymore. You have to use fear or logic. So it makes you robotic, basically. You have to be, I am a robot, or you take a mechanical penalty to your effort. So you can suppress it if you're fine with, taking some of your capacity to fight and do stuff, and using that to suppress the mechanical part of your nature. Human beings, of course, don't have to worry about that. So humans can have augmentations installed, like a person in Babel Kaminar can get a robot arm, and they just don't have to worry about that. Overclock simply doesn't apply to them. Their core nature is human. Now, that being said, I am not beyond designing a power that strips your humanity from you. Like, say, if you were able to load your consciousness into like a computer and turn your whole torso and brain and all that into an artificial hero, I would say at that point you no longer count as human enough for this to apply to you. So I might make a little more with that, but that's the root of how I'm designing all of this stuff. A lot of this, or a lot of this design you've probably seen before. A lot of this is available in the most recent version of the of this design that I put up. However, this part's new, the health and healing. I had to go back to the craft rules of the core. Crap! I went over my time limit. Oh well. We'll make it a few more minutes. But I had to go over the repair rules in the core, and I designed these such as that, and I'm actually really proud of this one right here. You take damage like a piece of equipment, and you can be broken. You simply go offline when your torso integrity becomes 0 or less, and then you can be repaired from that. So you can kind of come back from the dead as a base feature of the artificial heroes. It's not really coming back from the dead, it's getting repaired, and it's not great. Here we go. Yeah, this, you can be vanquished in combat, but it's not exactly the same. So yeah, the reason I decided to add that mechanical wrinkle is because almost every single anime that has inspired this either starts with or contains a robot being taken offline by damage or whatever reason, and then getting put back together. And, like, of course, like, they're not people, they're robots, they're machines. So the way they interact with reality is very different. And so being offline, dead in every human metric, and being able to come back from that, that is a very robot thing to do. So I had to put that in there. So your backstory can be that you were found in a scrap pile and put back together. And if you couldn't have that backstory within the mechanics, you couldn't do Battle Angel Alita. And you gotta do Battle Angel. Like, that's the robotest anime ever. Anyway, currently, the next thing I'm going to be designing is... Let me scroll back down here. There we go. Yeah, I physically wrote these on a piece of paper, took a picture, and then uploaded it to the document so I could just write directly from my my scribbles there. The next thing I'm doing, let's see what I did most recently. I did Hypercycle Prana. Ooh, Liquid Metal. I did Liquid Metal, so you can be the Liquid Metal Terminator. So that's done. That's on the Discord right now, actually, if you want to get a look at it. And next one is Tank Treads. I was trying to figure out what Tank Treads we're going to do. So I got to think of why you would install Tank Treads instead of feet. And then I got to figure out what an Orichalca gun is. So that'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, so that's good enough. I think you've got an idea of what's coming down the pike. Next is going to be lots of robot powers and robot kung fu. So get ready for some more of that. You should be seeing, if you are a Kickstarter backer or a patron, you should be seeing some art along with this. I've got a lot of really good returns this last month, and I'm sharing that all with you. That's going to be in the core book. Right now, it's starting to look very beefy and cool. And by the end of this month, we should have a whole bunch of robot powers for you. I would like to get done this month if possible, so I'm going to be trying to write pretty hardcore. I've overcome my vitamin D deficiency, which really screwed up my writings. I was almost completely out for like a month with that, which really hurt stuff because I still got to work every day, vitamin D deficiency or not. Welcome to Alaska. But I did, and then my car got wrecked because I was taking too long to work on the robots, and so the machine gods got angry at my car. But I replaced my car with the blessing of the machine spirits, so now we're back to doing what we gotta do to appease them, and clearly they want BABEEEEEE to be completed. Oh, one last thing before I let you go. I have decided that BABEEEEEE is the perfect dungeon crawl. I don't really have dungeon crawl rules in the game right now. I have something that could be like modeled for them, but it's mostly like a hex crawl sort of system. So I'm going to design a very old school style dungeon crawl mechanic mini game that you can use whenever you're crawling through the vents and ducts and Clockwork Nightmare of BABEEEEEE. So get ready for that. I've already got an environment simulator created by Taylor Lane, which is really cool, and I'm hoping to, because the way they design in the same kind of like old school way that I do, so I kind of speak the same mechanical language as them, and that means that if I design a classic dungeon crawl style approach to things, and I've actually already got a bunch of old ones I've designed in Streamlat that I might just use just because I'm lazy. But because it's going to be something very straightforward and simple like that, I should be able to use that whole thing more or less exactly as it's written. Now, again, I might come up with some brilliant idea that I want to integrate into that writing, but as it stands, this should be an extremely cool little place to crawl around and fight. So look forward to all of that, true believers. I think I've taken enough of your time. I'm going to post up some art, and in the meantime, take care. I'll fist you next time.